So I'm Chris Mullineux, and this is Andrea Mullineux, the Mullineux and Leeu family wines team. When we first moved here to the Swartland, it was not a very well-known wine region at all. Yeah. In fact, when we first released our wines, just going to the local restaurants in Riebeek, Castile, or Malmesbury, forget Cape Town, they wouldn't want to sell our wines. It was like shocking for us because we knew how special the vineyards were, how special the wines were. And we were like, well, we've got to get at least the local restaurants to get behind us and support us. We got together with our good friends Eben Sadi and Adi Badenhorst and Kali at Porcelainberg, and we started a festival to bring people here. It was a simple idea. It was just, let's bring people here and show them how special this place is. It worked incredibly well, not only just for people from Riebeek, but Cape Townians, people from Gauteng, the whole of South Africa. Absolutely. And then people internationally started coming as well.
People look at the Swartland or even in South Africa now and they forget that 10 years ago, how hard it was to convince within South Africa how good South African wines were.
Absolutely.
And overseas as well, to have to explain that we do make wine in South Africa.
Yes.
And for us, it's not about necessarily doing new things. It's about doing things we do well better.
Yeah.
It's about maturing, and it's about, so vineyards that we work with, how can we farm them better and more naturally? How can we adapt to climate change within a vineyard that's already planted?
Yeah.
Maybe changing the canopy or really working on weaning them towards being more adapted to the changes that we're seeing. And in the winery, it's about, getting to know the vineyards better and what will it bring.
Yeah.
What can be highlighted from the vineyard? And, obviously as challenges pop up, it's not necessarily about changing something dramatically. It's about, shifting things to keep things in line. So we don't actually do a lot of new things. It's just about refining and just getting better at what we do.
Absolutely.
We live in our vineyards. We're breathing in our vineyards. It's impossible to make great wine unless you know what the vineyard wants to do. So I always talk about as being a winemaker, I'm more of the custodian of the wines. And if the vineyard is expressing one thing, and as a winemaker you're trying to force it to do something else, although not every wine in the world has to be a terroir-driven wine, that is our ethos. We absolutely believe in the wines that we're making are terroir-driven wines. So it needs to run seamlessly from viticulture to winemaking. Women inherently have this innate sense to nurture. Yes. And whether you're raising something, in a nursery to the vineyard to a beautiful eventual 120-year-old vineyard, or whether you have grapes coming in that you help to become wine and you're raising it in the cellar and then presenting it in the bottle, it's all part of the nurturing process. So for me, one of the strongest things about a female is that instinct.
We just found every year when we work with Swartland fruit, the wines that came out were just these incredible expressions of wines that had a lot of power, but a lot of balance, a lot of freshness, a lot of complexity. Like I said, without us having to really manipulate them in the winery very, very much.
Yeah.
So just the quality of the fruit that we were getting really resonated with our approach to winemaking. With climate change, with things becoming drier and more extreme here, the way we farm is extremely important. And if you want to add chemicals in the winery and acidify your wine and do all kinds of things in the winery, then that's fine. You can work with any fruit. But if you want to make wine that's pure, that's honest, that speaks of where it comes from, you can't not farm properly. That's just, there's no two ways about it. Yeah. It's being natural and hands-off so that you have a natural product that has a purity and a sense of place, but not completely natural where it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. But that being said, we don't have to spray pesticides because we have, a natural giant population of guinea fowl on the farm that are constantly eating insects. And so we encourage the guinea fowl. We only use compost that we make 300 cubes of a year from our cows that you would have driven past on the way into the farm. And those cows are only used for compost.
I think it's important for people around the world to know that South African Chenin is really different from Loire Chenin. I think there's no question about that. And I think the nice thing now is the South African winemakers understand that as well. So our Chenin, I think now has got a great identity and it's again, to use international references, when we go to New York or London, people are so excited to have South African Chenin because they're just so balanced, so complex, and so interesting. Yeah. We love this place. We love the people, we love the vineyards, we love the terroir, and it wasn't a debate really about should we do it there or there. It just felt
just, like,
right.
natural.
It's home. So yeah. So it's quite simple actually.